Good morning and welcome to the Thursday class. Let's start the class with some prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Bhurbhavaswaha, Tatsavitra Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat, Asto Ma Sadgamya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, Mrityurma Amritam Gamya. Om Sahnavavtu, Sahnavunaktu, Saviryam Karvavai, Tejasvi Navaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. So in this class, we are trying to understand what the great Rishi said in this Shvetashvarta Upanishad. Okay, chapter 6. And we ended our last week's class with verse number 4. And in verse number 4, they said the Karam Yoga is the means to lighten the load of vasanas. Karam Yoga. Now in verse number 5, where we are going to start our class, the subtler means of upasanas, the worship and the meditations, the Rishi is suggesting. Okay, so it's not just only one thing we are supposed to do. Combination of all really helps. So Karam Yoga also, the Gyan Yoga also, the Bhakti Yoga also. So this Upasana and meditation, let's see what he's talking about. Verse number 5. Adi sasanyog nimithetu trikalat paraha akala api drishtaha tam vishwarupam bhavabhutam idyam devam swachit sam upasya purvam. Adi. Adi is the primordial being. Adi. Sa means he. Sanyog nimit hetu. See, sanyog is the union. Hetu is the cause. The cause for the union. Trikalat para. Beyond the 3 periods of time. See, trikal means 3 periods of time. Past, present, and future. Para means beyond. So beyond the 3 periods of time. Akala, devoid of parts. Api means also drishtaha, recognized. Tam means him, Vishwarupam, with the universal form. Bhavabhutam, who has become the whole world. Idiom, adorable. Devam, effulgent. Swachitstham, present in one's own heart. Swachit. Upasya, having worshipped and meditated. Purvam, earlier. He is the primordial being. The cause for the union. Union over here means union of the matter and the spirit. That's how this creation came about. So cause for the union. Beyond the 3 periods of time, because time is also a creation, is beyond that. And also devoid of parts. You cannot break God. This effulgent and adorable Lord with the universal form, who has become the whole world, can be recognized as he is present in our own heart, as worshipped and meditated upon earlier. So God unites, Sanyog Nimitthetu. So God, or the primordial being, the cause of all, God is the great uniting factor in the world. So he unites matter with the spirit. Okay, matter is inert by itself. So when it gets united with the spirit, there is a Chetana. And various causes with each other and with their effects, the action with the result also, he unites. The doer of action with the enjoyer of the results, he unites. One thought with the another thought also gets united by him. So that's why it said God is love. Love is the greatest uniting factor between any two objects or beings. So that's why when we say love in the purest sense, that means God. It is He alone who brings together the disciple and the Guru. Then the Guru connects the seeker with the spiritual practices needed to progress, brings about the urge for noble actions, unites us with noble thoughts, and also the virtues. Ultimately, it is He alone who connects us with Him through self-knowledge and self-realization. So this unite or union word is a pretty big word over here. God is adorable, idea. Even though He is timeless, trikalat taraha, and partless, He alone has become the world and all its names, forms, and qualities just to bless us. Seated in our heart as our own self, He is naturally the most loved and adored. Okay. Then he says, Upasya, worship and meditation. The means to realize this adorable God is to always remember Him and be aware of His presence through all our activities. No matter what we are doing, never forget God. Actually, when we love someone, it's very hard to even forget. You don't have to make an effort. A mother with a baby, especially when the newborn baby, can mother ever forget the baby? No. The love. So the same kind of a love we should have for God all the time. And this is what this beautiful word, idea, means. He's so adorable, we cannot forget Him. So be aware of His presence through all your activities. And chit really means the faculty of remembering. So chit stham is to keep Him always in our memory. Always. Connected to Him through our thoughts, words, and deeds. Makes us pure and virtuous, like Him. Whatever we think, that's what we become eventually. So think God and God and God alone, you become godly. With such a mind, meditation on His true nature further is easier and it strengthens our connection. If our connection is little weak, pay attention to it, that connection will become very strong. Thereafter, through realization, we become one with Him. One with Him. Such a beautiful mantra these rishis have given us. So encouraging and so clear. There's no other way to understand this. Let me read this translation again. He is the primordial being. So there's nobody before Him. Primordial. The cause for the union beyond the 3 periods of time and also devoid of parts. This effulgent and adorable Lord with the universal form who has become the whole world can be recognized as He is present in our own heart. You don't have to go far. It's right here. As worshipped and meditated upon earlier. Verse number 6. This mantra also gives us glory of Lord. Savriksha kal akriti bhi parah anyah yasmat prapancha parivartate ayam dharmavaham papnudam bhagesham gyatva atmastav amritam vishvadham. So means he, vriksha is the tree, kal is the time. So by the tree and time. Akriti bhi, form. Para, beyond. Anyaha, different. Yasmat, because of whom. Prapancha, the universe. Parivartate, revolves. Ayam, this. Dharmavaham, the source of virtue. Papnudam, the remover of pap, the sins. Bhagesham, the Lord of all fortunes. Gyatva, having known. Atmastam, seated in one's own heart. Amritam, immortal. Vishwadham, supporter of the whole universe. He, because of whom this phenomenal world revolves, is beyond the tree. Tree means a tree of sansar. Time, so beyond the time also. And form, beyond the form. And is different from those. He is the source of virtue, the remover of sins, the Lord of all fortunes, and the supporter of the whole universe. Knowing him, seated in one's own heart, one becomes immortal. So he's trying to give us the knowledge so that we fall in love with God. This is the knowledge about God. When we know that how precious something is, falling in love is very easy. And this is what this Rishi is trying to do. Par anya, beyond and different. The word beyond signifies that God is unaffected by the world. And the word different signifies he is neither finite nor has other characteristics of the world. So, par anya. And the world is called prapanch. If you break it down, prapanch, panch means 5. This world is made out of, this creation is made out of 5 elements. We are all familiar with earth, water, fire, air, space. That's why it's called prapanch. Even though he is the root cause, the mool of the tree of worldly existence, which is also called sansar vriksha, which is conditioned by time, names, and forms, but he remains unaffected and unconditioned by them. The world revolves around him, and because of him, yet he remains the unmoving center of its existence. He is the remover and the bestower. Papnudam dharmavaham. God removes our sins. Because whenever we pour something so pure into something, all the impurities flows out. And sins are the impurity. If you are afraid of any bad deeds, pour more and more God's name in your mind. So God removes our sins and bestows us with virtues. It's almost like we got to learn how to clean the house, sweep the trash out. Only then the fragrance of the incense can be enjoyed. Because if there is a stinking filth in there, even though the incense is burning, but it will not be enjoyed. So how can a mind full of resentment and revenge experience the joy of kindness and forgiveness? Because he is the Lord of 6 fortunes. That's why he is called Bhagesh. And earlier in chapter 3, we learned about this Bhagesh. That's why he's called Bhagwan also. 6 kinds of fortunes: lordship, righteousness, fame, wealth, knowledge, dispassion. These are the kind of qualities, the fortunes. He has endless of all that. Sometimes we feel a little glimpse of it and we feel good about it, but just imagine, God has all these 6 bhags. That's why he's called Bhagwan, owner of these 6 bhags. Extreme lordship, extreme righteousness, extreme fame, wealth, knowledge, dispassion. God has all these in infinite measure, actually. These are called the divine powers. That is his very own nature. These are not the qualities which can come and go. In us human beings, they can come and go, or they can be in a different degree. But God has infinite of all of these. That's why he used again the Bhagesh. The highest fortune, the bestows, he bestows on us. He gives us the knowledge that makes us immortal. In the next verse, the verse number 7, God's absolute lordship as realized by the masters. And it's not just, remember, not just for a few masters to realize. We all need to walk on the same path and realize this. This is for all of us. It's not only select people who can reach there. We all are working on that. But effort we have to make. Tam Ishvara Nam Paramam Maheshwaram, Tam Devta Nam Paramam Cha Devatam, Patit Patim Patinam Paramam Parastat, Vidam Devam Bhuvanesham Idiam. Tam means him. Okay, like God, him. Ishvara Nam, of the Lord's. Paramam, supreme. Maheshwaram, Lord. Tam, him. Devta Nam, of the deities. Paramam, great. Cha means and. Devatam, God. Patim, the ruler. Patinam, of the rulers. Paramam, higher. Parastat, then the highest. Vidam, no. Devam, the effulgent one. Bhuvanesham, the Lord of the universe. Idiom, adorable. We know him, the effulgent one, who is the supreme Lord of all lords. The great God of all deities. The ruler of all rulers, beyond the highest, adorable, and the Lord of the universe. That's why I said this was realized by the masters. That's why they can say it so certainly. We know him. We know him. Just like anything we know in this world, we can say it very confidently. We know it. So these rishis are saying that we know him. Ishvaranam Paramam Maheshwaram, the supreme ruler of the rulers. Ishwar means a ruler. There are many rulers in the world. Kings, presidents, sultans, prime ministers. or heads of huge organizations. Even in the animal world, we see a lion as the king of the jungle, commanding his pride of lions and the cubs. Then there are rulers who rule other realms of experiences, like heaven, the Swargalok, like Indra. Each cosmos also has its own creator, sustainer, and destroyer. Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, who are indeed powerful. Being a part of God, all these rulers enjoy but a small part of this lordship and power. God is the supreme ruler of the rulers. Make a point. The Lord of countless cosmoses, Anant Koti Brahmand Nayak. Okay, that is Ishwar. Devta Nam Param Devatam, the chief deity. We know that every law and every function by which God governs his creation has its own presiding deity, who is appointed by him. For example, the Ashwani Kumars preside over the hearing. Kul Devatas, they preside over a family lineage. People have forgotten about that, but this has been our tradition, the Sanatan Dharam. Sathan Devata presiding over a particular place. Each river, each mountain range, and elements are presided over by their respective deities. Ganga Devi over Ganga river. Himavan over the Himalaya. Agni Devta over the fire element. We are all familiar with this from Bhagavad Gita studies also. The scriptures say that there are countless deities, but God is the one who presides over all of them. These are like a small officers. They have their own duties, but God presides over all of them. Were it not for him, fire could not burn, nor the wind blow. We invoke the blessings of these deities to help us function well. And they in turn worship God for strength and ability to function. Patim Patinam Parama, the supreme Lord of gods. Commonly, the word Pati is used for a husband, but it means one who protects, Pati, who guides and protects dharam or righteousness. God appoints certain souls like Manu to take care of dharam in each manvantra, who in turn appoints Daksh Prajapati and other to help him. This Pati word, in each country, we have law upholders. Bhupati in Sanskrit is called the kings of Bhupati. Even the president of a country is called Rashtrapati. We even have words like Ashvapati, Gajapati, Vidyapati, Vachaspati. Those who are masters of the horses, Ashvapati. Masters of the elephants, Gajapati. Master of knowledge, Vidyapati. And Vachaspati means master of the speech. Person who knows what to say, when to say, how to say. Vachaspati, full control over the language. God is the Lord of all those who guide and protect others. He is the Supreme Lord. That's what it means, the Patim Patinam Param. Yudhishthir asked Bhisham Pitama, who is the one supreme God whom we should worship in Mahabharata? Bhisham Pitama said, worship that God who is the chief deity and the imperishable Lord of all beings. People become great because of what they do and what they have. What does God do and what does He have that makes Him the Lord of all? We should ask that question to ourselves. But the answer, these rishis have given it to us in verse number 8. Na tasya karyam karnam cha vidyate na tat samaha cha abhyadika cha drishyate. Para asya shakti vividha ev shruyate swabhaviki gyan bal kriya cha. No means neither tasya his karyam. Karnam. Over here karyam means a body. Karnam organ. Cha means and, vidyate is there. Na means none, tat sama, equal to him. Cha means and, abhyatika, surpass or superior. Cha means and, drishyate, seen. Para, supreme. Asya, his. Shakti, power. Vividha, manifold. Ev, indeed. Shruyate, heard or said. Swabhaviki, spontaneous, natural. Gyan, knowledge. Bal, power. Kriya, action. Cha means and. He has neither a body nor any organ. None is seen to equal him. Leave alone, surpass him. His powers are heard to be supreme, so said to be supreme, and manifold indeed. His knowledge and power of control is spontaneous and natural. So the very first thing in this mantra is he has no body or senses. Na tasya karyam na karnam. God has neither a body nor the outer instruments like a bahikarnam of sense organs of perception or actions or the inner equipment of mind and intellect, antakaran. Okay? So no bahikaran, no antakaran. How can one do anything without the body or the outer and inner instruments? So he is not a doer of anything. He is a karta. It means that God's greatness is not dependent on what he does or what he has. He is great because he is. That's it. He is great. It's not dependent upon what he does. Another meaning is that he has no karyam or duties. That's what Lord Krishna said too. I don't have to do anything, but still I do it. Being full and complete, he has nothing to be gained by doing anything. We do something because we have the desires. We feel incomplete. We do something to feel complete. He's complete no matter what. There's no desire in him. So he has no need for any karnam, the instruments by which he can attain it. We are troubled by a sense of incompleteness. And to feel fulfilled, we need to do something. God is ever full and fulfilled. Remember that. There is none equal to him nor greater. Na tat sama cha abhyadhika. Earlier it was said that God is incomparable. In chapter 4, verse number 19. Na tasya pratima asti. There is none even equal to him, leave alone someone greater than him. There was a king, Pondrak. He tried to copy Lord Shri Krishna, pretended to be original Vasudeva Krishna. And he became a laughing stock of the town. I'm sure you are familiar with that. Ravan thought he was God. He got killed. Hiranyakashipu thought he was greater than God and came to a sad end. Who can equal infinity, let alone exceed infinity? God is Purnam. When the great devotees Manu and Satrupa asked God to bless them with a child like him, the Lord said, since there is none like me, I alone shall incarnate as your son. Nobody is equal to God. Then in this mantra, the rishis say the God's natural powers, they are natural to him. So Bhavaki, God's Maya Shakti or Prakriti, his inherent and inscrutable powers manifest in manifold ways, the Maya Shakti. He is the owner of this Maya. We are the servant of the Maya. He is the owner of the Maya. That's why he's called Maya Adhish. Just as the ability to cool or heat or rotate are manifestations of the power of electricity through the cooler, heater, or fan, God's great power manifests as the ability to see or hear in the eyes and ears, and the power to know, energize, function, etc. in the mind and the body. God's powers always remain with him in full measure. Gyan, Bal, Kriya, knowledge, strength, and action. Among other powers, there is a special mention of these three. It indicates that to attain any amount of lordship and success, we need all three. All three. Often we act without thinking about it. And then we wonder what happened. Those are called the thoughtless actions. Or we just keep on sitting and imagining. So we are thinking, but we are not acting. They are actionless thoughts. So whether they are thoughtless actions and the actionless thinking, there's no fruits of that. We should have the knowledge, Gyan. We should have the vision. We should know how. We should have the might. We should have the ability. Even a nation needs all this to function, to protect its people. Ability to defend. Political and economic power and action is needed so that the citizens feel safe. Only then a country is dynamic and progressive. Such a nation can stand on its own and help others. So God has an infinite measure of Gyan, Bal, Kriya also. So the thought of these last two mantras further elaborated in verse number 9. न तस्य कश्चित् पति अस्ति हि लोके न च ईशिता न एव च तस्य लिंगम साकारणं करणाधिपाधिपा न च अस्ये कश्चित् जनिता न च अधिया. न means not, tasya his, kashchit any, pati master, asti is loke in the world. Na means not, cha and ishita ruler. Na means not, ev indeed, cha and tasya with regard to him. Lingam, the ground of inference, like a symbol, lingam. Sa means he, karnam, the cause, karnadhipa, the lord of the master of the sense organs. Na means none, cha and, asya his, kashit any, janita, creator. Na means not, cha and, adhipa, overlord. In this world, there is no master to lord over him. Okay, there is nothing greater than God. Nor is there any ruler to rule over him. Indeed, there is no sign by which he can be inferred. He is the cause of everything, and the Lord of the master of the sense organs. There is none who created him, nor anyone above him. So if you have any doubt that is a greater God than God himself, in a very simple terminology, Lord Krishna says, there's nothing greater than me. And this is what these rishis are saying in this mantra also. Na tasya pati na ishitaha. God is the protector and the Lord of all, and also the controller of all. There is none to lord over or to control him. If you have studied Vishnu Sahasranama, there is a name, Sahasra means thousand, thousands name of Lord Vishnu. There is a name of Lord Vishnu which is called Anish. Anish, which means one who has no Lord above him. Anish. In Tulsidas Ramayan, sage Narad tells the Lord, you are supremely independent with none over your head. Param Savtantra na sir par koi. Does God need any protection? Being omnipotent, he can well take care of himself. And all of us too. In the world, we see that power corrupts. We have seen in the history, dictator may become blind with the power. Power controls the immature. God is always in full control of his power. And so there's no question of his power controlling him. God manifests his powers only in the welfare of all beings, as he is the very source of righteousness. However, in Bhagavatam, the Lord says, I remain in the control of my devotee. Aham bhakt paradhina. This is the beauty of the path of devotion, Bhagat. The Lord, who is above everything, dances to the tune of his devotee. But we should remember that he is doing it by his own will. If someone thinks that he can control God by becoming his devotee, it will not work. Okay? Then the term comes, Natasya Lingam. Lingam means a sign. God has no sign or indication by which we can recognize him. Fire is inferred by its lingam, smoke. God is nameless, formless, attributeless, and so has no sign by which he is known. It means that he is not available for direct perception or inference. That's why many people, they even deny the existence of God. Logic, which is based on direct perception and inference, can neither conclusively prove nor disprove the existence of God. The scriptures on devotion say that God is revealed only to those to whom God reveals himself. It's his grace. We cannot control God. We cannot dictate God. Should remember that. Sakarnam karnadhipa adhipa. He is both the cause and the master of all living beings. Karnadhipa refers to the individual jiva with the outer and the inner instruments. The individual may not have mastery over them, but he does employ them to function in this world. God is their master. Natasya kashchit janitaha. That means that no one has created God. Because children often ask this question: who is God's father or mother? He is self-existent. It's called Swambhu, and there is no other cause above him. He is the ultimate cause. In the next mantra, next week, we'll see the prayer for abidance in God. These are very deep mantras, beautiful mantras. I would like you to go through them again whenever you have some time. We should just dig deeper into these verses to really feel what the rishis are saying. Imagine that you are just sitting at the feet of these rishis who saw these mantras in their samadhi. These are not the creation from the material intellect. Okay? Or just try to see that rishi is sitting in your heart. Then you'll be able to understand the depth of these mantras. So I would suggest, please do that. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadai Purnameva Visheshyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much.